ሰላም እንዴት ናችሁ? በዛሬው ዕለት በአዲስ ኮርስ አፕላይድ ማቴማቲክስ 1 የሚለውን እንጀምራለን። በአፕላይድ ማቴማቲክስ 1 ስድስት ቻፕተር አለው። እንደሚታወቀው ቬክተር እና ቬክተር ስፔስ የሚል አለ፣ ሊሚት ኮንቲኒቲ አለ፣ ዴሪቬቲቭ፣ አፕሊኬሽን ኦፍ ዴሪቬቲቭ፣ ኢንቴግሬሽንስ ኤንድ አፕሊኬሽን ኦፍ ኢንቴግሬሽንስ የሚሉትን እናያለን በዚህ ቻናል ስር ነው። በዛሬው ዕለት የምናየው ቬክተር ነው። የመጀመሪያውን ፓርት እናያለን። ኦር ሌክቸር 1 ቬክተርስ እናያለን ነው። ቤተሰብ ያሆናችሁ እንግዲህ ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰብ ይሁኑ። ቤተሰብ የሆናችሁ ላይክ፣ ኮሜንት፣ ሼር በማድረግ ይተባበሩን እያለን ስካላር ኤንድ ቬክተር የሚልን በማየት እንጀምራለን። What is scalar and vector? What is the definitions of scalar? Definitions: scalar is a physical quantity that has only magnitude. Physical quantity ሆኖ ማግኒቲዩድ ብቻ ያለው ነው። ማግኒቲዩድ ማለት ሌንግዝ ማለት ነው ባጭሩ። For example, speed, distance, time, power, work, volume እነዚህ ምንም ዳይሬክሽን የሌላቸው ማግኒቲዩድ ብቻ ያላቸው ወይም ይሄን ያህል ሴንቲሜትር ናቸው ወይም ይሄን ያህል ሜትር ፐር ሰከንድ ናቸው ወይም ይሄን ያህል ሜትር ይሄን ያህል ምናምን ብለን ብቻ የምናገር ግን ዲስታንስ በዚህ ነው ብለን የማንናገራቸው that is called scalar. Definitions for vectors: vector is a physical quantity that has both magnitude and directions. Magnitude-ንም direction-ንም ከያዘ that physical quantity is called a vector. For example, displacement, velocity, accelerations ብላችሁ የምታውቋቸው ማለት ነው። Vector in R2 and R3 or vector in 2 space and 3 space ይለናል። Now what is the vectors in R2 and in R3? A vector U in R2 or in 2 space is any ordered pair of real numbers, and we can note as the vectors U as U1, U2, where U1 and U2 are real numbers and they are called components for the vectors U. And then U1 እና U2 ኮምፖነንት ይባላሉ። የማን የቬክተር U እናም ሪል ነምበር ናቸው። What is vectors U in R3 or in 3 space is any ordered triple of real numbers U, which is equal with U1, U2, U3, where U1, U2, U3 are real numbers and they are called components for the vector U. እዚህ ጋር ሶስት ተፕሎች ወይም ሶስት ሪል ነምበሮች የያዘው ቬክተር U vectors in R3 እናለን። ሁለት ኮምፖነንት ብቻ ካለው vector in R2 እንላለን። vector in Rn ምን ማለት ነው? አሁን R2 እና R3 ደርሰናል። next in R2 ወይም in n space ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? An ordered n tuples of numbers of vectors U is equal to U1, U2, U3 blah blah. Un is called a vector where U1, U2, U3 blah blah, Un are real numbers and they are called components of the vector U, and we can denote as Rn ወይም Rn አለ። ለምን Rn አለ? እዚህ ጋር ተፕሎቹ ወይም እዚህ ኮምፖነንቶቹ n ኮምፖነንት ስላለው ዘን ቬክተር in Rn ነው እንላለን። Definitions: the vectors with initial point at the origins is called position of vectors. ቬክተር ሆኖ ኢኒሺያል ፖይንቱ ኦሪጂን ከሆነ ያ ቬክተርስ ፖዚሽን ቬክተር እንለዋለን። Another definitions: any vectors with initial point P and terminal point Q is not right like this PQ. This is called the directed vectors from P to Q and obtained as the directed vectors P to Q is equal with Q minus P ብለን እናገኘዋለን። For example, find a vector U directed from P to Q, where the vector P is which is 4, -3, 1, and vector Q 6, 2, 5. Then let's find the solutions for this example. Now, using the definitions for directed vectors from P to Q, that means let us say that vector as U. U is equal to the directed vectors from P to Q is equal with Q minus P. Here Q is given here and the P is here. Then we can subtract Q minus, that means 6 to 5 minus 4 minus 1 minus 3. Then that means 6 minus 4, 2 minus 3, 5 minus 1 ስንሰራው 2, 5, 4 እናገኛለን። Example number 2. Let the directed vectors P to Q is equals to 6 to 4. If the midpoint of the segment PQ is equals to 1, 2, 3, then find the coordinate of P in the Q. Now, እዚህ ጋር ምን አለን? The directed vectors P to Q አለን and the midpoint of segment PQ አለን። እኛ መፈለግ የሚጠበቅብን coordinate P እና Q ነው። So, as a solutions, let me assume that P x y z and Q a b c. P in x y z ብንለው እና Q in a b c ብንለው then the directed vectors P to Q ይሆናል ማለት ነው Q minus P ይሆናል። ይሄ ማለት ደግሞ a minus x, b minus y, c minus z ነው። but directed vectors P to Q ከላይ ከሰጠን 6 to 4 ሳለን a minus x, b minus y, c minus z is equal to 6 to 4 ብለን ስንሰራና rearrange ስናደርግ ከዚህ a minus x is equal to 6, b minus y is equal to 2, c minus z is equal to 4 ከሚለው a is equal to x plus 6 እናገኛለን። b is equal to y plus 2, c is equal to z plus 4. ይህንን ስታር ብንለው then from the midpoint of the segment PQ ከዚህ midpoint of የዚህኛው midpoint of segment of PQ ምን አለን? የmidpoint ፎርሙላ በመጠቀም indicate በማድረግ midpoint of PQ ይሆናል p plus q is whole over 2 ማለት ነው። p ይሄ ነው x y z q a b c ነው። ስለዚህ የዚህ midpoint ይሆናል x plus a over 2, y plus b over 2, z plus c over 2 ይሆናል። ከላይ ስለሰጠን 1 2 3 ይሆናል። now ይሄንን rearrange ስናደርገው ማለት x plus a over 2 is equal to 1, y plus b over 2 is equal to 2, z plus c over 2 is equal to 3 ብለን rearrange ስናደርገው x plus a is equal to 2, y plus b is equal to 4, z plus c is equal to 6. Then say this as equation double star. Now using equation star in double star means substituting equation star in double star meaning star equation double star ስንጨምር ማለት x እዚህ ጋር የm value ከስታር አመጣን እዚህ second star ወይም ሁለት ስታር ላይ ዘፍ ጨምረው ምን እናገኛለን ነው። ይሄ ማለት ነው ይኸው x plus a ነበረ but a ያችን ከላይ ከስታር ኢኩዌሽን ላይ x plus 6 በa ቦታ x plus 6 በb ቦታ y plus 2 በc ቦታ z plus 4 ኢኩዌሽን ደብል ስታር ላይ ስንተካው x plus 6 is equal to 2, y plus 2 is equal to 4, z plus 4 is equal to 6 እናገኛለን። now ይህንን rearrange ስናደርገው ማለት x plus x ማለት 2y of x ነው። 2y of x plus 6 is equal to ነው 6 ብዛት ሲሻገር minus 4 2x is equal to minus 4 over 2 x is equal to minus 4 minus ይሆናል። now the other one is x is equal to minus 11 እዚህ ጋር 2x is equal to minus 4 ነው then over 2 ስናደርገው minus 4 over 2 ስለሚሆን minus 2 ይሆናል። x አችን እዚህ ጋር y plus y 2y ነው 2y is equal to 2 እናሻገርና 4 minus 2 2y is equal to 2 over 2 y is equal to 1 እዚህም ጋር 2z plus 4 is equal to 6 ነው 2z is equal to 4 ስትሻገር 6 minus 4 which is 2z is equal to 2 over 2 z is equal to 1. Say this as equation triple star. Then substitute this triple star in first star. እነኚህ triple staroችን በፈርስት ስታር ላይ ስንጨምራቸው ማለት ነው በx ቦታ ማይነስ እንተካለን በy ቦታ 1 በz ቦታ 1 ስንተካ እዚህ ኢኩዌሽን ላይ a b c ምን ይሆናሉ ነው። now ይህንን ስንተካቸው a ያችን ማለት -2 plus 6 which is 4 ይሆናል። b is equal to y አለን y ያችን 1 ነው then 1 plus 2 which is 3 ይሆናል then c z plus 4 ነው but z is which is 1 then 1 plus 4 5 therefore x አችን -2 1 1 y አችን 1 z 1 a 4 b 3 c 5 as a result what is p? p ማን ነበር ያም x y z ስለዚህ x y z እዚህ ጋር ስላለን p አችን -2 1 1 ይሆናል q አችን abc ስላልነው but the values of abc is given here then the point q becomes 4 3 5 ይሆናል ማለት ነው equality of vectors now what is the equality of vectors? Two vectors u with the component u1 u2 u3 blah blah un and vector v with the component v1 v2 v3 blah blah vn are equal እዚህ ጋር equal እንመትላለች ዘንድ እነኚህ ቬክተሮች እኩል ናቸው እንላለን if and only if ui is equals to vi for every I is equals to 1 2 3 to n ማለት ነው እዚህ ጋር ቬክተር u እና ቬክተር v እኩል ናቸው ምን ከሆኑ የu እና የv ኮምፖነንት እኩል ሲሆኑ ብቻ ለዚህ ሁለት ቬክተሮች እኩል ናቸው ማለት የነሱ ኮምፖነንቶች እኩል ናቸው ማለት ወይ ኮምፖነንቶቹ እኩል ናቸው ማለት ሁለቶቹ ቬክተሮች እኩል ናቸው ማለት ነው example number 3 find the values of ABC if the vectors u is 6 ab a minus b c plus 3 and the vectors v is given as a plus b comma minus 4 9 are equal now the given vector u እና v አለን u እና v equal ሲሆኑ then abc ምን ይሆናሉ ነው now using the definitions of equality of vectors that means the vectors u and v are equal means that their components the corresponding component are equal that means a plus b a plus b is equal to 6 another one is a minus b is equals to minus 4 now c plus plus 3 is equals to 9 አለን now ከዚህ ተነሳ ለምሳሌ እነኚህ ሁለት ኢኩዌሽኖችን እንደምናቸው ሁለቱ ስንደምር 2a is equals to 6 minus 4 which is 2 then a ያችን ምን ማለት ነው 1 ይሆናል but ያችን 1 ነው ማለት በa ቦታ 1 እንተካለን then b ስንፈልገው 6 minus 1 then p is equals to 5 ይሆናል እዚህ ጋር c plus 3 is equals to 9 ነው የሚለን then 3 both sides minus እናደርግበት ወይ 3 ስናሻግራት 9 minus ይሆናል then c is equals to 6 ይሆናል therefore a is 1 b is 5 and c is 6 addition and scalar multiplications of vectors let's vector u with the component u1 u2 u3 blah blah un and the vector v is given as v1 v2 v3 blah blah vn be vectors in Rn then addition the scalar multiplications of those two vectors u and v are given as u plus v is simply adding with the corresponding components of the two vectors u and v means that u plus v mat u1 plus v1 comma u2 plus v2 comma u3 plus v3 blah 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 un plus vn this is called the sum or additions of vector ይባላል ሁለተኛ ደግሞ scalar multiplication እንለዋለን multiply the vectors u by scalar k now k times u is equals to ku1 comma ku2 comma ku3 comma kun where k is real number or k is scalar now definitions two vectors u and v are said to be parallel and noted as like this and those two vectors u and v are parallel if and only if u is equal to k times v where k is scalar or k is an element of real number means that two vectors u and v are parallel if and only if one vector is scalar multiple of the others but here u is parallel to v if and only if u is equal to k times v if this k is greater than 0 vectors v in the k times v has some directions if k is less than 0 then v in the k v's have opposite k na v na kv opposite direction ይኖራቸዋል ማለት ነው ምን ከሆኑ k አችን እዚህ ጋር less than 0 ከሆነ definitions two vectors that the two vectors the directed vectors p to q and the directed vectors r to s are said to be parallel if this is scalar case such that directed vectors p to q is equal to k times directed vectors rs then using the definitions of directed vectors we have q minus p is equal to k into s minus r example number 4 if the vectors u is given with the component 0 to 4 and the vector v is equals to 1, 3, 5, then find a u plus v, b to v, c u minus twice of 2 over 3 v. Solution. U plus v is simply adding the corresponding components using the previous definitions. Then u plus v is under root 0 plus 1, 2 plus 3, 4 plus 5 ሲሆን 1, 5 9 እናገኛለን። b twice of u ነው የሚለን twice of u ማለት 2 ትወጣለች እዚች ጋር 2 times vector u ስናደርገው 2 በቬክተር u ስናብዛው that means 2 0, 2 2, 2 4 ስናደርገው ማለት ስናባዛቸው 0, 4, 8 እናገኛለን። C vectors u minus 2 over 3 vectors v is equals to is equals to እቺ u የለችም እና ይሄንን ስንፈልግ ያው ስንሳሳኩ now u minus 2 over 3 v ለመፈለግ እዚህ ጋር u አለን uአችን 0 to 4 ነው vአችን 1 3 5 ሲሆን then u minus 2 over 3 v is equal ይሆናል 0 to 4 ሲቀነስ 2 over 3 times vectors 1 3 5 ይሆናል ይሄንን ስታ ከዚህ ቀንሳችሁ ስትሉስ minus over 3, 0, 2 over 3 እናገኛለን። Example number 5. Determine whether the following sets of vectors are parallel or not. Vector u with the component minus 8, 6, 1 and vector v with the component minus 2, 3, 1. And the b is given here. Now what's the solutions is the vectors u and v are parallel. Let us do. A u is parallel with v since y u is equal with 4 times v ስለሆነ uአችን minus 8 6 1 ነበረ vአችን ማለት ደግሞ 4 times vector v ነው ማለት ነው ይሄንን ወይን vector v በአራት ስናበዛው vector u ስለምትተን u እና v parallel ናቸው ወይን u scalar multiple of vectors v ነው ማለት ነው second b u እና v ተሰጥተናል እዚህ ጋር እነኚህ parallel አይደሉም ለምን vectors u scalar multiple of ከዛኛው vector ጋር መሆን ስለማይችል ወይን vectors u is different from k times v where k is a real number. Number 6. Show that the directed vectors p to q and r to s are parallel where the vectors p, q, r and s are given here. Now እነኚህ parallel መሆናቸውን ማሳየት የምንፈልገው Now as a solution here what is directed vectors p to q and r s የሚለው መፈለግ አለብን directed vectors p to q በዴፊኒሽኑ መሰረት q minus p ይሆናል q minus p ማለት 0 5 minus 5 0 ብላችሁ ሲሰሩት 5 5 ይሆናል then the directed vectors r to s ማለት ደግሞ s minus r ነው s minus r ብለን ሲሰራ 5 minus 0 search 5 now therefore the directed vectors pq equal 1 times directed vectors r is ስለሚሰጠን p the directed vectors p to q is parallel with the directed vectors rs ይሆናል ማለት ነው example number 7 let's the vectors u is given x 4 6 and the vector v 2y minus 3 then find x and y such that the vectors u is parallel with the vectors v as a solution since the vectors u is parallel to v if and only if there exists scalar k element of a number such that u is equals to k times vectors v ይሆናል now እዚህ ጋር uአችን ማነው x 4 6 ነው vአችን ተካለን እናገኛለን x 4 6 is equals to k into 2y minus 3 ይሆናል now ይሄንን መጀመሪያ ይሄንን ስካላር ማልቲፕል እናደርገው 2k 2y minus 3k ይሆናል now by equality of two matrices two vectors that means equate the corresponding component that means x is equals to y of k 4 is equals to k times y 6 is equals to minus 3k ይሆናል now እዚህ ጋር k ማናገኛለን 6 is equals to minus 3k ከሚለው k minus ለምን over minus 3 over minus እናደርገው እዚህ equation ላይ 6 is equals to minus 3k ከሚለው ላይ ኬያችን -2 ነው ኬ -2 ከሆነ እዚህ ጋር ሰብስቲት ማድረግ ብቻ ነው ሰብስቲት ስናደርገው x is equal to 2 times -2 which is -4 ይሆናል y is equal 4 is equal to k times 1 ኬያችን -2 ነው then 4 is equal to -2 times y ነው then over -1 ማስናገር y is equal to 4 the value of x is -4 and the value of y is equal to -2 ውድ የዩቲዩብ ቻናል ቤተሰቦች ይህችኛዋ የመጀመሪያ ሌክቸር ዋናት ቀጣዩ ፓርት የሚቀጥል ይሆናል እንግዲህ ላይክ ኮሜንት ማድረጉን እንዳትረሱት